I guess you don't want to miss the next recession. That's why we need to talk about Japan. Because this beautiful country can beautifully crash the worldwide economy. But before we do that, we have to get back to the 80s for a second. So in the 80s, Japan was Godzilla, dominating tech, high-tech, automotive, think giants like Sony or Toyota. Japan was on track to become the biggest economy in the world. Markets were blooming like crazy, like sakura. At certain point, Tokyo real estate market was valued higher than all the real estate in California. All was ballooning till it didn't. By August 1990, the Nikkei stock index went down to half of its peak. The 90s was so-called the lost decade. That turned into lost decades that affect Japan till today. So what went wrong, what's still going wrong, and why should you care? Buckle up. This is bigger than you think. Japan was a symbol of economic success, as I said, but today it's grappling with challenges that could ripple across global markets. So we're gonna dive into Japan's massive debt, stagnant economy, and of course aging population, and how it all together is shaking the world. So stick around to find out if Japan's crisis is a warning for us all. Let's start with the numbers. Japan's public debt is over 250% of its GDP. That's one of the highest in the world. That's like owing 250 for every dollar you earn. For comparison, the US, criticized for its debt to GDP ratio, is at about 120%. So this debt pile comes from decades of government spending to prop up a sluggish economy in Japan. Since the 90s, Japan's been stuck in this lost decades economy. And then we have, of course, the population problem. Nearly 30% of Japan's population is over 65, and the birth rate is one of the worst, one of the lowest globally. Of course, fewer workers mean less economic output, and all in all, it's a demographic time bomb. Japan is trying to fix this, think robots, automation, AI. And some kind of immigration reforms, but it's a steep climb. These issues aren't just Japan's problem, they're a warning sign for the world. So, how does Japan's crisis affect the global economy? First, we have the yen. So, Japan's central bank has kept interest rates near zero for years, weakening the yen to boost exports. This created something called yen carry trade. This is where it gets important. So investors from all over the world borrow money in Japanese yen, because when you borrow, you want to borrow cheap, right? At very low interest rates, and then investors converted it into other currencies like the US dollar, euro, Swiss franc, you name it, whatever. And they did invest in assets, all fun until now, because yen is getting stronger. And investors may be forced to sell those assets to repay the debt. And that can trigger the global collapse. A volatile yen messes with global currency markets. Like, for example, in 2022, the yen hit a 24-year low, spooking investors worldwide. Japan is also a still critical player in semiconductors. So if Japan slows, supply chains from California to Shanghai feel that. For example, we have 2023, where Japan's chip shortage already disrupted global tech production. And then there's the financial domino effect. So Japan's bond market is massive. If confidence in it wobbles, global investors could panic, pulling money from markets everywhere. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? So a Japan triggered shock could be just as brutal. Besides Japan, we have different problems. We're not gonna discuss them today, but we can't predict what's gonna happen and when, but we should stay informed. So if you find this video useful, leave a tactical comment, drop your thoughts, and see you in the next one.